My laptop is slow, so even if we live, I don't know it yet. You know what I'm saying?
I think we are live, sir.
We live right now. Okay.
Yes, we are.
Party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your main man, the number one chief rock Knicks universe, Uncle Freezy, and you are watching Old School Knicks. I am joined by the creator, the director, the producer, and all around YouTube celebrity, Anthony D, who is so smooth he does not require a chaser.
Why do you do that to me?
What's good, sir? Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to all of Nick Nation out there. So how you feeling? What
Shannon Briggs, these hands are fast.
Shannon Briggs, you trying to come back again?
Yeah, Shannon Briggs, bro. No, I'm just messing around. Shannon Briggs, but these hands, I can't. Hey, don't sleep, Shannon Briggs. Anyway, I know you wanted to talk about Legends of the Fall, and I wanted to ask you a question leading into that, right? Because as I thought about this during the week, it made me think about this. Is our lack of new legends the reason why the Knicks don't have prominent young Knicks fans?
Is that a question?
Yes. Because we don't have a prominent legend. Like, who on this roster, say in the past 4 years, has had a stretch where a young fan would even care about the Knicks? You feel me? Like you remember how Bernard King would reel off a stretch of games, like 5-6 games in a row, where he could just go for 35 on any given night against anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You remember Carmelo used to have those stretch of games where Mike Breen, it seemed like Mike Breen would just be saying bang all week.
Bang.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
When's the last time we got a good bang?
Yeah.
No pun.
No pun intended.
We got to keep it.
Hey, Miss Mocha, Anthony D said that. I didn't say that. Anthony D said that, man. I'm just here. I'm the co-pilot.
That was a figure of speech on a loud mic. On a very loud mic. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
But to your question, that's still yet to be determined. Do we have young legends?
Yeah, the thing is when you think about it, all the prominent Knicks fans you see are older. And I just talked about this a tad bit with Greeny, but it was because I was thinking about the question that where you were headed, right? Okay. Like, when you think about Knicks fans, you think about, like okay, so when I think about Knicks fans, I think about the Sinatras. You feel me? I think about the Spike Lees. I think about the
You mean the phony fans?
The Chuck D's.
Well,
I think about the Stephen A. Smiths.
I wouldn't call Chuck a phony fan. But...
No, Chuck ain't no phony. No, Chuck real. Mm-mm. Now, what I'm saying is where are all these rappers around the city with tattoos all over their face and money telephones and all this stuff? Bro, why are they not representing the Knicks?
What? Fat Joe is not representing the Knicks?
But Fat Joe is 50 plus. Fat Joe's 50 plus. You know what I'm saying?
I know, I get it. The Knicks are like anything else. They have to create, or what's a better word? What's a better term that I'm looking for? But they have to re-engage, with those younger fans. And I know of this to be true, this story that I'm about to tell. Someone that I know, younger fan, recently bumped into James Dolan at an event.
Okay.
And they spoke to him, he gave him a couple of minutes or whatever, and he spoke to him from the younger fans' perspective and what he thought could be done. And, he said Dolan gave him an ear, respectful ear, talked to him, whatever, traded back some whatever. And, but not every young fan has had, a moment with the owner of the team, or when they've had, or when they have had, a moment with the owner, it hasn't been good. It's been very disgusting. Fans getting kicked out of the arena. Charles Oakley getting kicked out of the arena. So they haven't reached out to re-engage like that, or not to my knowledge, with the younger fans like that, which is a mistake on their behalf. Because when a couple of years ago, when KD came to Brooklyn, he said the Knicks weren't cool, and a lot of fans took offense to that, because what happens, especially for the Knicks, they haven't had to work for their fans. And now where I'm really gonna go.
Okay? We're dying out, bro.
Because you're a Knicks fan because of what?
Because Clyde Frazier is the coolest joker to ever breathe breath.
But Clyde wouldn't have been cool to you if he wasn't cool to someone you respected or liked basketball.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That then kind of gave you your start, and then
bim,
you're off and running.
Bim.
You see? That's the problem here. We have a lot of, younger people who, us as older folks, we can't give them the jerseys. We can't give them the memories. They don't want to live in TV land, like I mentioned a few months back or whatever, a few weeks back or episodes back.
Okay.
They want to be hot in the here and the now.
Right.
They don't want to know that you put it out there that you're interested in this guy or that guy, and then you come up lame.
Right. Okay.
So from that perspective, that's why. Or that's one perspective, I should say, as to why.
Okay.
As we... Okay. There's a game tonight, everybody.
Right.
Knicks in Cleveland.
Yeah. I hate Cleveland, bro.
Of course you do.
You know why I hate Cleveland.
Because
it has something to do with Clyde.
Because Clyde finished in that mustard and burnt orange.
Oh my God!
See, they didn't do things.
Yeah,
they didn't do things back then where a player would sign a 10-day contract or a 1-day contract just to retire with the team that he had all his success and so forth with.
Right.
They didn't do that back then, because if they did, Clyde would have been the first to get that done.
Right.
But where I was going, and maybe we could preview even the game a little bit, is the prodigal son is returning.
I hate Cleveland. I hate Cleveland so much, bro. Those uniforms that you said, the what is it? The mustard yellow, orange.
The mustard yellow with the
maroon.
That maroon burgundy look, something like that. It's like really crazy to me.
And you know what they call it, right? You know what they call those uniforms? They call them wine and cheese.
Okay.
Wine and cheese. That's what they call the uniforms. Back then, they called it wine and cheese because they were supposed to be the elite of the elite, right? Wine and freaking cheese.
Is Cleveland elite in anything? And I'm not disrespecting the city of Cleveland, because I know
I've been to Cleveland a couple of times. It smells like fart is in the air.
No, I'm sorry. Go there.
I'm sorry, not fart. I say fart because I'm corporate. But when I went there, I was like, "Yo, it smells like fart over here."
Oh, you
smell like fart.
James Kennedy is from Cleveland.
Oh, James Kennedy was beautiful, bro.
Halle Berry is from Cleveland, Ohio.
Halle Berry. Oh goodness.
I mean, so Cleveland does have some good things,
right?
Or the state of Ohio, some good things.
Yeah,
Zap.
yeah.
The group Zap.
Yes.
Ohio players.
Yeah, the OJs. Okay, I get it.
Look, the state of Ohio is single-handedly the greatest state to ever produce the bands. Period.
No, but
Period
okay.
in the story. And I'm
No,
not,
but okay.
and you can miss me with that Jersey nonsense, which I know you're gonna come with. Because
What you don't like Parliament Funkadelic?
They couldn't hold a and I love the funk and the Parliament, but Ohio,
Yes.
literally Ohio,
Fire.
I don't have enough
boom.
I don't have enough fingers to count the bands, to count the legendary bands from Ohio.
Right. No, they
yes. Sweet Sticky Thing.
Yes. Oh,
come on,
jeez.
come on,
Classic.
Come on.
Classic.
As we deter from talking about Knicks Cleveland.
right. Bro, that's what I'm saying. That's why we old school, because we set a old school tone. You gotta immerse yourself in this old school thing, bro.
Like talking to my great grandmother. We would start at something from maybe about 7 o'clock, and I'd still be sitting there at 8:30. And whatever we started talking about, we were miles away from that.
Right. And not miles in exaggeration, real life. Like the conversation would be talking. You start by Grandma, will you get those the plate, the fork and spoon on the wall? Oh, well, such and such did woodworking, and he did, you know what I'm saying? And then it go from the forks. AD, you remember when families used to have the fork and spoon on the wall, the big huge fork and spoon, and then like a foot away from it would be the Martin Luther King picture, and then and then it'd be like another foot away from it would be the funeral home calendar. It'd be like March 1977.
No, the other foot, or maybe slightly in the corridor, would be the picture of Jesus.
Yes, yes, with the same pole. Yo,
whoever that white man with gold locks was in my
I joke about. I don't joke about Jesus, but I do joke about that image. Like Jesus with that perm in that picture was immaculate, bro. That perm,
that's where Ron Isley got his from. Damn, laid down.
Yeah, man.
I'm in and out. If you see my camera going in and out, because I'm having some camera difficulties thing on. So just if you see my emoji or whatever.
You want just if you just go camera, bro, we'll be all right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go. We'll be all right.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing about the Knicks and Cleveland, bro, I hate Cleveland, not because of LeBron or none of that, but because at the beginning of a season, the Knicks traded Walt Clyde Frazier to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Jim Clemens. And Jim Clemens got here and played with Bob bro. You remember Jim Clemens, Bob McAdoo? Oh my God. Bro, I'm hot right now. Earl the Pearl coming off the bench. Oh my God. Come on, man.
That's an older Earl too.
Yeah.
At that time when they were going through transitioning, and then they get to your favorite two words, young core, and
I just want to vomit. I just want to vomit in my jacket, bro.
But here's the thing: you can't vomit because we started out talking about why aren't there any young legends of the fall and and right. We can't get young legends of the fall if we don't have a young core.
Okay. All right.
You feel me? So, and we have beaten this topic to death as far as team construction. So we should not beat it anymore to death, as we hang Cleveland. Well, my reasons for not liking Cleveland, besides the NBA rigging the draft process several times after, for them to get LeBron
to save a franchise,
to save a franchise. They never trying to save their number one most marketable franchise, but fine, go save something somewhere in the map that most people don't go.
When you could have easily just moved, you could have moved Cleveland to a city that deserve an NBA team like Kansas City, Missouri.
Not only that, for me at least, I look at teams as being profitable as the economy is profitable. The Midwest, Cleveland, Michigan, all these other places out there that depended on the automobile industry and things of that nature, and real direct,
Cleveland with the steel industry,
the steel industry, and all these others, and why am I having an NBA team there?
Right.
Why am I having any kind of sports franchise really there? That at some point in time, what's the owner gonna do? He's gonna want a new stadium.
Right.
Who's got to pay for that?
Right.
How many owners go in their pocket and flip the bill for something modern and retractable roofs and this, that, and the third? So if the owner's not going to pay for that, that means the taxpayers are going to have to pay for that.
Right. Right.
Okay. So why would you put that kind of burden on them? Okay. And then you have it such as we're talking about Cleveland. Okay.
Right.
Let's look at the Dan Gilbert LeBron situation.
Yeah, that was a sucker move.
Does it get any uglier than that?
Right. No.
Right? Does it get any uglier than that? Doesn't.
Dan Gilbert is a jerk, and everybody knows it.
Right? It doesn't. Why? Because the biggest thing in his life or his sports life walked out the door.
Yep.
And when it walked out the door, that man got uglier than any relationship with a woman that I've ever been in. Okay? He said some of the most wickedest things, and he left it on Cleveland's website even when LeBron returned.
You're right.
It was still there.
Yep. They
didn't take it down until after he arrived.
Yep.
Okay, after he's back in the uniform. These are some of the things that the city Cleveland has attached to it.
Right. Right.
Okay?
Bro.
And then to become modern, to get up to speed, they outfoxed the Knicks. And I wanted to use another F word in trade. Remember that? Remember that? Cleveland has decided that they're no longer in the Donovan Mitchell sweepstakes. Then 5 days later,
Cleveland has
Donovan Mitchell. Then 2 months later, Donovan Mitchell is banging it on Luke Cornett. Pause.
Yes.
Yo, that man put Luke Cornett in such a poster the other night. Ooh,
I
Lord.
saw it.
Former Knick,
bro.
Luke Cornett.
Right.
That man rode him all the way up to the 100th floor. Bang.
Yep. Bro. And the weird thing about it is when I saw that dunk, I thought about how one Sunday afternoon, Charles Barkley dunked on Bill Cartwright like 9 straight times, bro. They ran the same play over and over again. Kenny Walker, the defensive stopper, was supposed to stop Charles Barkley.
I'm glad you didn't say that with a straight face.
No, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Kenny Walker.
Yes.
Good morning, King Poppy and YK.
Yeah. Good morning, man.
Peace.
I cannot believe. Oh my God.
So that's
so how long?
The city of Cleveland.
So let me ask you this though. How long? Okay, so we coming up on the 40th anniversary of the Knicks passing up on Clyde Drexler. Like, how long should it take me to get over this thing, bro?
Well, before we get,
I was like 15 years old, bro. I was like 15. I'm like, you gonna pass up Phi Slamma Jamma for a dude that we ain't ever even heard of?
Before we get to the 40th, which you're totally correct. October 26th of this year, which is last week, was the 37th anniversary of the Knicks drafting, or Patrick Ewing's
debut. His debut. Yeah.
You remember that game?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
I remember it being a blur. I remember pomp and circumstance, nothing about the game.
The only thing I remember about that game, so two things I should say. So I shouldn't have started out the only thing. The two things I remember about that game is that before the game, leading up to the game, from training camp, well, literally from the time Dave DeBusschere, who almost had a stroke up there, from the time he got Patrick Ewing, the expectation was we're going to win multiple championships.
Yep.
We're not going to win one championship. We're going to win multiple.
Dynasty.
We're going to be a dynasty, and we're going to be a dynasty with me, you, Hardwill, and two other. Shout out to my man Hardwill, right?
Shout out to Hardwill.
Because that's how great of a talent. That's how great the potential was for this man coming out of college.
Yeah.
And the second thing I remember is he dunks on Moses on a putback over his back. His first 2 points in the league is coming over Moses. Bang.
Yep.
And I think the radio announcers at the time was Butch Beard, or the TV announcers was Butch Beard, and I think Carvelis was an older gentleman. Carvelis used to do our games on TV.
Right. Yep.
And he said, "Welcome to New York, Patrick Ewing."
Yeah.
Has arrived. And then we won, I believe, 21 games for the season. After that.
Yeah. And Pat was injured. 2 significant injuries in one season.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the first time he had ever been injured.
Yeah, he 2 significant injuries. Pat Ewing played about 50 games.
I think it was exactly. I think he averaged, what was it, 20 and 9.5 or something like that. But he got injured the first time, against a center named Steve Stopanovich with Indiana.
Yeah.
And, Pat had a history. Well, I don't want to say he had a short temper, but Pat, from coming from Jamaica to, going to Boston with all the racial strife of the times in the late 60s and the 70s and so forth.
Yeah.
And here he is growing like a weed, taller than everyone else who ever lived in his family. Right. And he's in a place where it's cold. He doesn't have, he has his, his immediate families and so forth, but he doesn't have his, his nurturing, which was his grandmother in Jamaica and so forth. And, he got into a lot of fights.
Right. And he grew up in one of the most racist places in America, in the area around Boston, Massachusetts.
And here's the irony in that. Pat then over the course of time becomes the most dominant thing they had ever seen since Bill Russell.
Right.
Now those same people that were wearing gorilla mask, right?
Right.
And throwing bananas out there.
Right.
They all want him to go to Boston College.
Yep.
They all want him to stay close. They're inviting him. They're inviting him, to come around and see the facilities and things of that nature. But yet he was the N-word, a few days prior.
Right.
Now they love him. I think they even had something at Old Boston Garden where they invited him. You see Pat walking through. Pat got on the tight gabardines, the small sweater. Pat like 7'1". Pat got on a sweater for a 6'8" dude.
Yes. Looking like he's searching for Jello pudding pops.
But he's walking through and he's giving them like, yeah, you think I'm gonna sign here, motherfucker? He's waving.
Yeah.
He's giving them that. Yeah. But he was a shy kid, because when you see him in his press conference when he's going to announce where he's going, and he could barely get the words out.
Right.
right? So,
Right.
shout out to Pat on his anniversary of his first game as a Knick, because it
Right.
wasn't kind of like our show. It was a real journey for him. It wasn't easy here in New York, and there's a lot of fans from our age and things of that nature
Yeah.
that they don't forgive him for things like the finger roll. They forget that in game 5 he hit the game winning shot that
Right.
even got them to the finger roll shot.
Got them to game 6 on a
That got
Saturday
them to game
afternoon.
6, right?
Oh,
They forget that. They forget that he's wearing a Jackie Joyner sleeve on his leg because he had injured the calf several games prior and he could no longer had the lift.
he had no lift.
He had no lift.
He should have sat out the game.
No.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he should have sat out the game because the game's not important. I'm saying with that type of injury, you should not have been able to play. Right? Pat, if it was a regular season game, Pat wouldn't have played. Right? But it wasn't a regular season game.
It wasn't a regular. You're right. If it was a regular season game, he wouldn't have played. Right? But nobody cares.
But Pat has heart, though. This is what I'm getting at. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Pat had heart. It wasn't just about New York versus Indiana. It wasn't just about this important game 6 victory. It was because Pat loved to play basketball, bro. Pat loved basketball, bro. It was, I'll never forget. I saw Pat Ewing in Boston Garden. A ball rolls to the corner, and Pat gathers the ball. He looks down, and he's behind the 3-point line. And Pat is like, well, you can see the look on his face like, yeah, centers don't usually do this. But Pat fires up a 3 and makes it in the Boston Garden. You don't see 7'1" dudes do that. Pat second guess because he knew the unwritten rules of the game, right? You know what I'm saying? 7-footers ain't supposed to be shooting no 3-pointers.
He sent them home.
Yes.
He sent them home. Got to pass him Oakley. A rebound pass at the same time, and Ewing is running to save it. And instead of going out of bounds, he turns. That's the, when we think of Pat, we forget how athletic he was.
Oh, in those beginning years, bro. Oh,
and especially, the injuries robbed him of. He was still explosive, but he wasn't Georgetown explosive. After those first couple years, because when you constantly have to go in, when they say things like this to allay the fears of fans, things like it's only a scope, it's only a cleanup, that's surgery.
Yes,
it's surgery. Whenever they have to cut into your body,
that's surgery.
No matter how small, surgery.
Yep.
Okay, so imagine every year because remember, for 15 years, or for at least 12 out of those 15 years, they were a deep out.
Yep.
So no matter how bad your knee is aching, you've still got to play when everybody else who's knocked out would have already started their aftercare.
Yep. They would have went through the 10 days of no basketball activity, right? Then all the swelling and all the stuff out of your body is gone. Then they would have got the surgery and had the month off to just rehab to get back right. And then they would have started light basketball activities. But by the time by the time other people were starting light basketball activities, Pat was getting surgery. You know what I'm saying? Because Pat was, think about how long it took. So a 7-game series is about what, 15 days? Because it's every other day unless you travel, and then it's 2 days in between. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about 15 days, right?
Right.
And then think about if you make the second round and it's another 7-game series, right?
Right.
And so even if you win your series 4-1, your opponent might go 7 games with them. So you got to wait till your opponent to finish.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about into May. You know what I'm saying? And then don't let it be make the Western Conference Finals. Now you're talking about even more games. You know what I'm saying? And so now you're talking about Pat putting 20 and Pat playing 100 games a season.
Okay. And you're doing that for practically 12, 13 years. Okay. And you were, because he was in the uniform, he was in the uniform for what, 15?
Was
15 years with the Knicks.
Yeah.
And about what, 18 overall or 19, something like that, 18 or 19 overall. Because when he finishes, he's in that. Well, before he finishes, he's in that god awful Seattle green.
Yeah.
And then that god awful Orlando.
Tracy McGrady, Orlando. Yeah.
I couldn't even watch him. I could watch him a little in Seattle because it was fresh from the Knicks. But by the time he got to Orlando, no. He was out of shape too. And you had never seen Pat out of shape.
Yeah.
You had never seen, that Ferrari out of condition. And it was a painful thing to watch, you know.
Yeah.
At that point. But to see him come back, when he got the Hall of Fame and he retired his jersey and a packed house in the Garden and everybody being there and so forth, and you get to make amends of some degree with the fans. And I think at the end, especially fans who's coming back from all the way back then, they appreciated the hard work. They appreciated the hard work because you never miss something until it's gone.
Till it's gone, bro.
And we went through those years of like, wow.
Kelvin Cato. Wow. Dikembe Mutombo.
Wow.
Yeah, Jamal McGraw. Yeah.
There's all of these guys that they're not even worthy to carry him on their shoulders.
Right. Travis Knight. You remember when the Knicks used to start Travis Knight?
You remember when Rick Pitino gave him a 4-year, $25 million contract way back when, off of a half of a season of playing because of whoever their starting center was got injured, and it's crazy. So guys like that who, like I said, they're not worthy to carry him on their shoulders.
Yeah, Glenn Rice.
Once he was gone, it got so dark. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Once he was gone, it got so dark. Like quickly.
Yeah.
Like a black cloud that just hovered over us. Because you couldn't tell me or any other Knicks fan, because Pat was no longer here, the lights were going to go off.
Right.
Right? Because at the time, if you remember, those last couple of years, especially the 2000 season, which is a season that it's a forgotten season.
You said 2000? Okay.
2000. It was back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. We remember 99, we forget 2000.
Yeah.
And Ewing is back. He's still hobbling around. But if you remember his crescendo, or the crescendo for the Knicks that season, was we beat Miami again in the semifinals, Game 7, on a Pat Ewing not a putback, but Mourning tried to steal it. He jumped over Ewing's back. Ewing catches, turns, and flush.
Yeah.
Now we're back to Indiana again.
Right.
No one talks about that 2000 season, and after the season, you started hearing the rumblings that we were better the year before without him.
Yeah.
People like, and he can deny it, but I remember people like Latrell Sprewell, right? Because you had a contingency that
Yeah.
got here, the younger crew, the young core, right? The young core, they're looking at Pat like Pat is old now. His legs are out of shape. We were running the year before, and we got to where we got to, but they forget Pat's game 5 in Miami the year before.
Yep.
You know, his 23 points, what it was, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, you know, strained rib cage. You know, you see him running up and down.
That affected his breathing. Yes. Okay.
Yes, affects, and that's the game where he had tweaked the Achilles.
Yep.
So he's giving it his all. You forget that you wouldn't have got to the finals without Pat.
Yeah.
Then they looked at him like, we no longer need you. Yeah. And to his discredit, right? Pat got in his feelings.
Pat stayed in his feelings, though, bro.
Pat stayed in the feelings, but now he's older, Pat.
Yeah, now he's older.
And he's like, you know, I've given you everything.
Right.
And if we really want to keep it a buck, a lot of this resonates from 94.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get it done.
Yeah.
And in his mind, he's probably thinking, they blame me.
Yep.
Okay. I've had enough.
Yep. Yeah. They blame Pat for 92.
But 94 is it.
But no, hear me out. So Pat was to blame in 91, right? Pat was to blame in 91. Pat and Starks, I think Pat and Starks, and who was our point guard in 92? Doc Rivers?
No.
Mo Cheeks?
Jackson.
Mo Cheeks? You sure? 92?
Yeah, March. Because remember, he's that point guard. Because remember, the seasons go 92, 93, 93, 94. Mark Jackson is our point guard, and Gerald Wilkins is our shooting guard.
Yep, Gerald Wilkins. Yep.
And they blame him. You know, you could blame Pat every year he's here.
But that's the point that I was getting at, AD. My point is there were years where Pat took all the blame, and then there are certain years where you pointed out, like 94, you could say Starks was to blame. But you can't say Starks was to blame, because without Starks, there is no NBA Finals, right? The two teams. Okay, for instance, I think at the beginning or midway through the season, we thought the NBA Finals was going to be the New York Knicks versus the Seattle Supersonics, right? Because Phoenix was hot off and on. You know, remember they went to the finals the year before. They like all in a funk trying to figure out these different things. Barkley is injured, and Cedric Ceballos, but Richard Dumas and another Phoenix Suns player is suspended, and they're trying to find pieces. And then Seattle is playing the Knicks style of basketball, like defensive bigs and one glove-like defender in the backcourt, and a whole bunch of guys coming off the bench to gang defend. Like a whole bunch of 6'7", 6'8" guys coming off the bench to defend multiple positions, right? And so it's one of those deals where it's like, you know, if we had more help, Pat would have won a chip. But only people that did not watch games say that, right? Because we legit saw Pat Ewing play with Xavier McDaniel and wouldn't pass on the ball, wouldn't let the man shoot. What do you, AD? What do you have Xavier McDaniel for? If you won't let the man ball? Jay Busby, bro, they tried to get Pat number twos all the time, but Pat wouldn't allow a number two to be a true number two. It's like putting a number two around Melo. Like when you talk to Carmelo Anthony, like, yeah, hey, Melo, we need a second scorer. Melo, like, for what? I can score.
No, you're talking about Pat. You're talking about Allen Iverson, not Pat Ewing. And we can go over. We can go
Nah,
over the
bro.
season. We want to romanticize Xavier McDaniel. And don't get me wrong, because when there's 2 seasons in the regular season of that year, Xavier McDaniel was saving his knees because he had 2 bad knees, right? Not
Right.
1, 2 bad knees, right? And he was horrible. Look at his
Man, come on,
look
bro.
up
Don't
his
do that to
numbers.
Xavier McDaniel, bro.
You can go to Basketball Reference and you can see game by game. Look at his number. He was so inconsistent that season. He was very inconsistent. If Pat doesn't let a number 2 live, how does John Starks rise?
Okay. All right. So you're saying that Pat, the Knicks never traded to get Pat a number 2. Is that what I'm hearing?
They did. They tried. The idea of getting Orlando Blackman was to be that number 2.
Yes.
But on the way of trading for Blackman,
He was washed, though.
They found out he was washed.
He was washed.
Dick Carter, I saw Dick Carter, who was our defensive strategist at the time. He had an interview where he says he saw Dave Checketts in the lobby or the elevator or whatever. And he was like, "Yo, what did you do? This dude has had it."
Yes. Yes.
Like, after the first practice, they were like, "No, he's washed.
He's washed up. Yep. Washed up.
He played that season because remember he started the first season, but he wasn't the same guy.
Hell no.
In Dallas,
right?
Which was, and here's another irony, which was when we traded for Harper the following season because Rivers got hurt.
Yeah,
Knicks fans was like, "You going back to Dallas again?"
Yeah, right.
Like they the same age.
Right.
They've been playing together for the last 10 years. They're the same age. This dude is washed.
And for those that followed NBA basketball, they knew of all the teams in the Western Conference, man for man, the Dallas Mavericks may have been the most talented team if you go from the individual players, Derek Harper, Orlando Blackman, Roy Tarpley, Mark Aguirre, James Donaldson, all the cats on their bench. I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Man for man. But they didn't have the heart to beat teams like the Lakers went to the Lakers would go to the finals because Dallas would knock off the teams that could beat the Lakers, right? Like the Mavericks would knock off the Portland Trailblazers, who were just as talented, right? The Mavericks just seemed like they had Portland's number. And Portland had Terry Porter, Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth, Clifford Robinson coming off the bench. They have all these talented players, right? But they couldn't beat Dallas, right? And so, but the thing about it is when you put the Mavericks on the big stage, they couldn't win. They didn't have any heart, bro. This is the team. This is the team that kept the Seattle Supersonics on the ropes. You remember?
They didn't have. I don't think. Well, I recently watched that Game 7, Dallas against the Lakers in LA. And to be fair to Dallas, Game 7 in LA in the Magic Johnson era, you didn't beat them.
Right.
It was rare.
Right.
Houston got one off. You know,
that was a lucky. Is that not the luckiest shot you ever saw in your life?
Yeah, that's the Ralph Sampson turn twist.
Throw it over his shoulder. Ralph Sampson was like, "Oh, it went in!"
It went in, and everybody was like,
Michael Cooper was like, "Oh,
yeah, literally."
Yes.
The anticipation for Boston LA round 3
in 86,
right?
Yes.
In 80s, no, round 2, because the first time they play is 84.
Yep.
And we know what happened. Or right, 84. So we're thinking the 84-85 season. So 85-86 season, we're looking for round 2.
Right.
And the Rockets knocked them off that night. I remember it was like literally the NBA didn't know what to do.
Right.
Stern and everybody was like, oh my God, how are we going to market this?
Yes.
Because they had everything ready for round 2, Bird Magic, and the Rockets threw a wrench in it. It's like the biggest wrench in sports that I can remember.
Yeah.
Or one of them, when you're anticipating this matchup. To a lesser degree, it's like when Orlando beat Cleveland that year. Because remember, the NBA was pushing this LeBron, Kobe. LeBron, Kobe. And when Orlando beat them that year, the NBA, to a lesser degree, the NBA was like, what is this?
Okay.
You know, we've never had, and it's one of the the shames, or it's just one of those things in life that never happens. We never had LeBron, Kobe.
Right.
We
because
had
other teams get paid.
We even had Mike and Magic.
Yep.
And some of the others, LeBron, Steph, and LeBron, KD. Never had LeBron, Kobe.
Yeah, never had LeBron, Kobe, bro. It's the biggest what if ever.
Biggest what if.
Personally, you even had LeBron, Tim Duncan.
Yeah, but personally, I think they would have, Cleveland would have got washed anyway.
Yeah, Cleveland, they did get washed.
Yeah, Cleveland would have got washed. I mean, if they had beaten Orlando and gotten to the Lakers, they would have gotten washed.
That Pau Gasol Lakers team.
Oh, the one thing that the Lakers had off the rip that they would have thrown at them would have been Artest on LeBron.
Yep.
Yeah, LeBron gonna get his, but he gonna work.
He gonna work, bro. You gonna wear him down.
You gonna wear that Artest? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a player that as time goes on, we forget how really good, Meta World Peace Ron Artest was.
Right.
In a good 8-9 year stretch of his career, he's in the top 15 ball players in that era.
Yep. Yeah. And there was a 3-year stretch where he was top 5 MVP candidate.
Yes. Because he was that good, but because of all of his personal situations and those demons and mental health issues and so forth, I don't want to say it robbed him of the totality, because here's a man who's won championships, right? He has he has rings and defensive player of the year and other accolades and things of that nature. But maybe he can been even better.
Yeah. Shout out to my main man Ron Cleveland in the building. I see you, man.
Ron was good. That Indiana team that couldn't get by Detroit.
That team might have been the best team in the NBA, bro.
Best team in the NBA.
Jamal Tinsley, Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal, Ron Artest,
Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting Miller.
Austin Crochet.
They had a good team.
Yeah.
They had it when you see the Malice in the Palace documentary and they talk about it. Jermaine O'Neal, he's still bitter to this day. He's very bitter.
Shout out to JO. Yeah.
Him and Ron Artest, they don't, or as of the documentary, they did not have a relationship.
Who? Ron and Jermaine O'Neal?
No.
Okay.
He was very bitter at Ron because that team should have been the team, not Detroit. Not that Detroit wasn't good or as good. That team was better.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that team was better. But the Detroit team, what Detroit had was, he had a better tactician at the time with Brown.
Oh my God.
Right? No, Brown at that time was what that Detroit team needed, because they fired, I can't remember who the coach. I think he ended up coaching Indiana and then Dallas. I think it was Rick Carlisle was the coach at the time, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
But Brown added a a certain kind of focusedness and defensive mentality, which the game was playing back then, and then they got Rasheed Wallace.
Right.
And they were more mature of, as hothead as Rasheed was, Rasheed didn't go off the wagon like Ron did.
Right.
Because remember, referees used to just look to give Rasheed a tech.
Yep.
He's the person that came up with the phrase, ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie. Yep.
Ball don't lie. Right? But that team right there, if they somehow could have managed to, and they tried to get Ron, help and so forth, but after that fight, which maybe one day we should really get into that fight, the Malice in the Palace. We never talked about that. Where I don't blame Ron. I didn't blame Steven Jackson. I didn't blame none of the players at the time.
Right.
But here's who I do blame. The league.
Right.
Because when you serve alcohol and there's no limit to what you can consume, and if you go to games, they're drinking before tip-off, they're drinking during tip-off, and there's no limit to how much you can drink during a game.
I ain't blaming that on alcohol, bro. I'm blaming that on the Detroit Pistons. I don't care nothing about no alcohol. I don't care nothing about no stupid fan. I don't care nothing about, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Your staff was overwhelmed. The fact of the matter is this whole thing started in a blowout in the fourth quarter, and Ron Artest was going to the rim, and Ben Wallace flagrant fouled Ron Artest, and they didn't call it a flagrant. Bro, in a blowout, let the man dunk. What's wrong with you? Ben Wallace, you got a point to prove. Oh, not in my house. Bro, you gonna foul Ron Artest. Ron Artest they foul Ron. Ron upset. Ron go to the scorer's table to chill out. And while he at the scorer's table, a fan hits Ron Artest with a cup. This had nothing to do with the Pacers having beef with the crowd. The Pacers didn't have beef with the crowd, bro. This is Ben Wallace trying to put the Timmy on Ron Artest. Remember, they walked Ronnie away like, yo, chill. Let's just get out of here. And the next thing you know, a Pistons fan from about 12 rows up throws a cup at Ron Artest. First of all, if you've been to an NBA game, you know that's an amazing throw. If you hit Ron Artest with a cup from 12 rows up, yo, you should be playing quarterback for the Jets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That was a cheap shot. Perfectly in the chest. But you saw it, yo. Like you saw the documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
You seen the throw? The throw was Joe Namath, bro.
But Freezy, it's the alcohol that gave him the courage to make him do that. When you see a professional athlete out and about, okay,
right,
just man to man,
right,
it is not a competition,
right.
Even if the professional athlete is not a boxer or MMA, UMA, whatever it is, he will hurt you.
Yeah, like when people see. Have you seen a picture of? Okay, so I might have to dig it up. There's a picture of me and I think John Abraham and Brian Scott, and people are like, "Wow, who's that big dude on the end?" Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry. You like that motherfucker? That dude's a monster. Sorry, man. I like to eat, bro. I'm sorry. I like macaroni and cheese, man. I'm sorry. What you want me to do, man? Yeah. I like grilled chicken, bro. I like burgers and stuff, man. I'm sorry.
Thanksgiving is coming up. Mac and cheese, absolutely.
Yeah, man. But yo, you're not giving any blame to Ben Wallace for fouling Ron Artest.
You see, that foul stems from a previous game.
Right.
They had history.
So the malice was coming.
The malice was there.
Right. So yeah, so you can't blame Ron Artest or the
malice
Pacers.
was there. I do blame Ron for, the act, but what I don't what I commend Ron for is Ron didn't take it to the next level until
Ron could have knocked that dude head clean off, bro.
Ron was laying on the press deck.
Yes.
Calm, laying there, just doing what Ron does, right? Just laying there. And then from nowhere, there is the immaculate cup that comes out of the air. You could see it in live action.
Yep.
And as soon as I was saying this much, I happened to be watching the game. Like, this is not going to end well.
Right.
He's not that guy.
Right.
Like, not because he's from, Queensbridge and whatever.
Right. No matter where you from, bro. Somebody hit you with a cup.
But that particular individual right there, him and his father would be working out with they having gunshot shootouts.
Yes. And they still out there playing ball.
Yeah,
because they were scared of Big Ron. Big Ron was crazy too.
Like he, shout out to the Artest family and so forth. But he comes from an environment that no one detected that he had the situations going on. In the same documentary, we're not exposing any brand new news. He had thrown someone off of top tier in high school.
Yes. And at St. John's.
Yeah, he was not. This wasn't the guy to play with. Not
he
then.
threw a chair at Mike Jarvis.
Not then. Not now.
Right.
So you as a fan, you let whatever's in your cup help give you. And here it is. Wait for it. You think they're gonna stop it? You never think he's gonna get to you.
You're right.
Because there's some between you and the 12th row or wherever you at. There's some 2,000 people.
Yes.
Right. And
but you don't expect 2,000 people to scatter and spread like the Dead Sea,
like the Red Sea, right?
Yes.
And one guy was like,
he did it.
But him, he saw Ron looked like King Kong.
When Ron jumped over that, it was like 4 rows. Ron Artest leaped over 4 rows of chairs and then stumbled, right? And Cass was like, oh, holy crap, this dude just jumped 30 feet. You know what I'm saying?
Don't play with him.
And people forget how athletic, when you watch the NBA on TV, you forget how athletic these guys are. This dude skipped over like 3 or 4 rows of seats. And then the dude was like, oh, he did it.
His man gave him up real quick.
Yes. Bro, I ain't even gonna lie to you. If I see a 6'8", 270-pound dude legit leapfrog 3, I go to games, bro. I know how far this dude had to jump 30 feet. I ain't talking about adrenaline.
And then the same dude who gave him up, while Ron didn't hit the guy, Ron grabbed him like in his neck area.
Yeah.
Because Ron said, I was just going to tell him, don't you ever in your life throw a cup at me or anybody else again, quote.
Right.
But the guy to Ron doesn't see him to his back, then gets a cheap shot on Ron.
Right.
Bad move.
Yeah.
Because Mighty Joe Young, Steven Jackson, is coming up immediately.
Floored him, bro.
Immediately vaults up there
and
begins to lay out the commandments. Thou shalt not be stupid. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt not hit my man from behind.
That's the softest thing you ever saw in your life, bro.
And then they panned, and this is where, again, alcohol with these fans, you see these 2 Detroit fans, they got their Detroit jersey, they pan down to the floor, and one guy is like maybe 5'10", one guy's like whatever. They're now going after Ron, right?
Yeah.
Or I can't remember what play it was, and here comes Jermaine O'Neal looking like old Eddie Kane in the beginning of the 5 Heartbeats when he slides across the floor and grabs the mic. Jermaine O'Neal slides across the floor and
bam! Yep.
He's lucky Jermaine had slipped and slid into that punch. Because can you imagine a 6'11" man,
hitting him off his front foot? If he'd hit that dude off his front foot, that dude, they'd have still been scraping that dude off the rim.
He's scraping him off.
Yeah, man.
He'd still be scraping him off. So, alcohol with, just fans not realizing that it's a game, bro.
Yeah.
You here to be entertained. Are you not entertained?
Right. And then the Pacers are on the road against a rival, and then you got about and it wasn't packed. It might have been like 10,000 fans in there. So it's about 10,000 fans in there, and it's only 12 NBA players and maybe 10 coaches and staff. So you outnumbered, and then security seemed like they was on lunch break. Where was Detroit?
They didn't have proper security.
Right.
You can't have that many people.
Right.
I don't care what event it is. You can't have that many people anywhere and lunch on security. And while you're serving alcohol.
10,000 people, and you got like 20 security guards.
20 security guards. And remember, in these events, this is post 9. This is what?
Right. Yeah. Right after that. Yeah.
Right after 9/11, post 9/11. Yeah. Nobody's, they're not taking their security in hand. Nobody's getting searched like that.
Right.
When they should have been. Now you're serving alcohol. You don't have proper. It was like the Riddick Bowe. I know fans here. We're gonna talk boxing again. Like the Riddick Bowe Galata. Yo, I'm telling you, people. Freezy's my man, right? And Freezy's really putting it out there that he wants piece of Shannon Briggs.
That's if Shannon. I ain't seen Shannon Briggs talking lately, so I'm gonna back off a little bit, right?
Okay.
But
I will say, I need to understand
Mike Tyson, listen, don't Mike, calm down. What, bro? What?
I don't doubt that you would step in the squared circle with them, because once a boxer, always a boxer. Right. My question is, why?
What you mean?
Why? I mean, would it be
you don't ask birds why they fly, bro. You don't ask birds why they fly. You don't ask fish why they swim, bro.
They're good.
You know what I'm saying?
Papa
Yeah, I'm saying it's like I'm not saying I'm the baddest man ever. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not even saying I'm a bad man. I'm not even saying that I would even win. But I'm saying it's so there's some things that go on.
Doing more than Bruce Seldon.
Bruce Seldon's a punk. Bruce Seldon is a punk, man. I ain't even fighting Bruce Seldon, bro. I ain't even gonna argue with Bruce Seldon.
Because when I saw Bruce in the post-fight interview way back when, 1996, well, what happened was he hit me in the top of the temple. He hit me somewhere here. I'm like, Bruce, we seen the film.
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, bro. Yeah. All of us were there. All of us were there, bro. We saw it from many angles.
All that was.
Yep. He was scared of Mike hit him with a body shot early, and he was scared for the rest of the fight.
That was it. And
that was Bruce Seldon too, right? Wasn't that the second fight? Him and Bruce Seldon?
No, he only fought Bruce. You think
who did he fight twice in that era? He fought another dude twice.
He fought Razor Ruddock twice.
Right.
He fought Frank Bruno twice.
Frank Bruno, that's the one I'm talking about. Not Bruce Seldon. No.
Bruno gave him a little something. Bruno not a real punch.
Let me say Bruce Seldon. I'm sorry, I got y'all mixed up. So let me say I apologize to Bruce Seldon.
No. Bruce was the punk. Bruce was the one who fell. Bruce was the one who fell from imaginary punch.
No. I'm talking.
Frank gave him something.
I'm saying that Frank Bruno fight. Mm-hmm. Mike hit him early, and I could see the fear welling up in his face. bro. If you scared, get a dog, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Oh, crazy. If you watch those fights, and I implore you to watch them again.
Who was in better shape, Bruno or Selden?
Well, they both look like middle linebackers, so I can't tell.
They
both
Bruno.
look like granite, cut from granite.
Yeah. Both of them look. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro.
But
Both of them look like they were on steroids, bro.
But they just were. Bruno was the European heavyweight champion for like a minute.
A minute, yeah.
He was like the guy before Lennox beat him and started, because the people in Britain, they weren't even rocking with Lennox. Because remember, Lennox is born in Jamaica, grew up in Canada, went to England, and then fought for Canada during the Olympics.
The Olympics, yeah.
Then would go back to Jamaica.
So he's Jamaica, fight for Canada, moved to and there's no harm in that because a lot of people have done that same thing. Just regular people.
In that, but the British people, the Britons, they never looked at him like he was really one of them because English because of whatever. Not that Lennox never really cared, but that was like the conversation.
Right.
While Bruno would be walking around in top hat and tails, like he was getting ready for the Queen, and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So the money was on Bruno. Lennox did away with him.
Yes.
I think dispatched. Yes, it is the phraseology. Thank you very much, there, Mr. Freezy. What was it? 5th round or something like that? Something to that effect. I watched it like
he outclassed that dude. That dude is that.
But by the time but the thing was, if you know European fighters, against American fighters, they come with a fan base.
Yes.
Remember Ricky Hatton? Oh, Ricky Hatton!
The ghost!
Right?
Yeah.
The ghost.
Yeah.
Undefeated. Yeah. He had his own fan base. They all came to Las Vegas. They made the most noise. They spent the most money.
They had cowbells. Remember the cowbells?
Remember the cowbells?
Yeah, and all that, yeah.
So Floyd is looking at him like, wow, I ain't gotta fight another Mexican again. I ain't gotta wait till Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
I'm gonna beat this dude. Plus, he got his own fan base.
I'm gonna take them too.
Yes. Right? Yes. And I'm gonna say some awful shit during the process to make them want to come here to come see their man defend their honor. Too bad that did not happen with Ricky Hatton, who tried.
Right. He was outclassed, bro. Speed. There was a speed mismatch. There was a technical mismatch. There was a heart mismatch. Ricky Hatton had a lot of heart, bro.
A lot of heart.
But Floyd was hitting him on the button. Bro, Floyd was hitting him on.
He couldn't see. He couldn't see the punches coming.
Right. Floyd would, like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Like, the difference between like Hearns and Sugar Ray is Hearns could hit you all about the head and chest, right? Leonard would hit you on the button, and there's a difference. Like for instance, the difference between Hearns
just needs one.
Yes, yeah, right. I got you. But what I'm saying is it's like when dudes was losing to Larry Holmes, and I'm like, how you losing to this sloppy? Not sloppy in style, because he was a great fighter.
Yes,
but what I'm saying is, I couldn't figure out how people were losing to Larry Holmes, but Larry Holmes was hitting cats on the button, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like he didn't waste a lot of wild punches unless but he was hitting you like on the button, like hitting you right on the chin. And you know what I'm saying? And heavyweights back then were moving around, like moving their head and bobbing and weaving and ducking and fading and all these different things coming in. But it's just an uncanny ability to land punches on the button.
And Larry could take a shot.
And he could, bro, I saw it. Like,
he could take a shot. I saw Mike Weaver. Mike Weaver hit him in their first fight, and the light should have been out.
Yes. Yes.
Right? He kind of like how Wilder hit Tyson Fury in that second fight, or that
Right.
first, right, that second fight.
Right.
When you thought he was just out, he's laid his
Right.
back out, and Larry got up, and Larry knocks him out. Larry knocks Mike Weaver out, I think in the 15th round, in the last round of the fight.
He was gassed. He was gassed, though. He was gassed.
It was like perfect, just, jab, cross, uppercut, boom.
Bam, bam, bam. Yep.
Bam, bam, bam.
I got hit like that one time, and I got hit like that one time at a cattle. You know the place where they sell bulls?
Yeah.
Like the cattle auction?
Okay.
They put a boxing ring in the middle of it, bro. It just hey, you ever heard the word BS? The term BS, that's what it smelled like in this area, right? So this dude hits me, no lie, AD. And so it was a big crowd. It was a lot of people, bro. People had cameras and people had their families and stuff out there, bro. It might have, bro, I'm talking about, you talk about a big crowd, it had to be every bit of like 35 people.
You got knocked out.
It was a huge crowd, bro.
In a rodeo?
Yes.
Was it halftime?
No. This is a tournament. This is a tournament. This dude hits me, and all you hear is everybody go, "Oh!" I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie, dude hits me so hard. All I can hear in my ears is, I'm like, damn, y'all ain't even take the cows outside. Even the bulls saw this. I get hit, a dude. I could hear the whistling, bro. I could see the glove, and I'm like, all I can think about in my mind is shit. Oh, and, that's like, we thought you was dead.
We talk about this all the time, as far as with boxers and looking up to fighters. Well, me at least, and why it's hard to begrudge, in my mind, a fighter.
Right.
Because this man makes his living getting punched in the face.
Bro, I got hit on the chin and it cocked my head forward. Like I got hit right here and my forehead, it was like, damn. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, boxing ain't no joke, man. But I understand where you're coming from, man. And I tried not to talk boxing today, man, but I love it. I can't help it. Love boxing and love the Knicks.
It's what it is. Love boxing. Well, I used to love the Knicks, well.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I
love people are like, yo, how do you do an old school Knicks? My cousin is still he's still in delusions, and he's angry at me because me and as a certain separation of me and the Knicks right now. Yeah, so he's still angry, but he'll get over it.
Yeah, we all do. He'll
get over it.
That's why and that's why I asked you earlier. Is it too soon to get over the Darryl Walker over Clyde Drexler pick?
No. We're gonna
make it last forever.
It's like the Donovan Mitchell situation. The better he does, the worse we do, or if we don't, we're gonna remember it.
Right.
We're gonna remember, the failed negotiations and the alibis. See, that's the thing that gets me.
That's the thing that gets me.
It's the alibis afterwards, and you put these things out with certain people who, because they speak nicely and you can trust them and things of that nature, because you read them every morning. So what they say, it must be the gospel.
Must be the gospel.
Must be the gospel. You can't trust your own sense because you're not in the know.
Right.
You can't trust what's happened in past times and so forth because we weren't here. Wasn't the same regime.
Wasn't the same regime.
Wasn't the same regime, but it's the same acts. So, it's one of those things, Freezy, that unless they win, but I'm interested in watching the game tonight because I really want to see the matchup between him and RJ.
The 6:00 tonight, Blorange Tears will be on. I already put the thumbnail out there. Mm-hmm. It's 6:00. So we are going to be watching the game live. This will be game 6 of 82. Game 6 of 82.
What do you think so far?
I'm riding it out, bro. I don't have any thoughts or any expectations. My main thing is RJ Barrett is the golden child, and I want RJ Barrett to be treated like that. Don't slander RJ. Don't critique RJ. Put RJ on a pedestal and leave him there. Don't talk. Don't say nothing about RJ Barrett. Period.
You're not supposed to.
He's the golden child.
You're not supposed to critique any of your players because they're above reproach because they're part of the young core.
They're a part. Yeah, they're above. RJ Barrett should not be held accountable.
No, it's part of the young core.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Julius Randle should not be held accountable. No one should be held accountable. Like something is just gonna happen magically. And this is the thing that used to frustrate me, you know, a lot during the days and especially over the summer. It's like, well, so how does it fix? How do you fix it?
Right.
There's no answer.
Right.
It's just come on, AD, da 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 da. This is just how's it gonna happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Time.
I would say this. Everybody should be held accountable except for RJ Barrett.
Everybody needs to be held accountable. And I'm an RJ Barrett fan. Freezy, I'm an RJ Barrett fan, but I wouldn't have blinked an eye. You hear me? Them wanting RJ in any kind of deal, I wouldn't have blinked an eye.
I understand what you mean. Right? I do. I understand what you mean, but what I'm saying though, AD, is in some situations you got to understand that all situations are not conventional. We are in an unconventional circumstance, right? The Knicks have been atrocious forever, but before RJ Barrett, our guards were named Billy Garrett and John Jenkins. You don't even remember them. Alonzo Trier. Ron, what's Ron last? Ron,
should you not want better?
Yes, RJ is better.
Should you not want RJ is better, but should we not want better than RJ?
Yes, and RJ, a better version of RJ is what we deserve.
All I'm saying is what I'm going to continue to say until it happens. Get me to the championship. Okay. You want the love, the devotion, the support, and so forth. As far as from my perspective, get to the championship.
You are the perfect person for this analogy that I'll make. I think I said it like 3 days in a row now. The RJ Barrett draft is odd because the person at the top of the draft, Zion Williamson, is a super freak. Super freak. He's super freaky. You know, and the second person in that draft is a super freak.
Is the
athlete.
Is the
super freak?
Is the super freak?
He's super freaky. Right. So if we're talking about Zion and Ja being Rick James, right? Then RJ Barrett is Freddie Jackson. He is not them. Freddie Jackson was good, but he ain't Rick James.
Damn.
You feel me? You talking about two guys. Are you talking about Zion at 300 pounds? I'll just say that, just a nice even number. At 300 pounds, this dude has a 46-inch vertical.
Yes.
Right? Ja Morant at 165 has a 44-inch vertical.
Is ridiculous.
Right? And then there's RJ Barrett,
who can barely jump over the bread box.
Right. He's a rim grazer. Right?
I mean, he'll bang it.
Zion at 300 pounds might be the fastest person on foot at his position. RJ Barrett will never be that.
No.
Ja Morant, pound for pound, might be the fastest person at his position. Right? RJ Barrett will never be any of them. RJ Barrett will never be Rick James. RJ Barrett will never be James Brown.
I feel you're leading to something here. So lead us past
I'm getting there. I just got to lay out this thing so people can understand. that RJ Barrett will never be Zion or Ja. RJ Barrett will be the best version of RJ, which is a player that is good at everything across the board, but not great at anything. RJ Barrett is never going to be a steak dinner, bro, but he'd be one hell of a ham sandwich. You know what I'm saying? For those that eat pork. You know what I'm saying? RJ Barrett is going to be one hell of a Subway sub, $5 foot long. He'll never be a steak dinner, bro. Never. You can't expect him to be that because he's not it.
Well, if I can't expect him to be that, then I expect the chef or the ham sandwich maker to be better than just wanting a ham sandwich with a little bit of Oscar Mayer,
a heap of helping of fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, and collard greens. I know what you're saying.
You gotta be better than that. And it's not his fault for him being who he is and what he has in his bag.
Right.
He's working hard. I would not say that. But
of course he's working hard.
Is that the piece, or is that one of the pieces to get you to where you need to be?
Yes.
We'll see.
Because no team's gonna win a championship with 5 Zions. No team's going to win a championship with 5 Jaws, right? You need a combination of different talents, people playing different roles in order to win a championship. That's what RJ Barrett, and this is where I don't think RJ Barrett is not going to be a Tim Duncan impact player or a Allen Iverson impact player. What RJ will be for us is Manu Ginobili.
If he was Manu Ginobili, Freezy, everybody would sign up for that today.
Right, but you got to let him grow. You got to let him get there.
That's super praise.
Right, but you got to let him grow to get there because Manu was not that at 22.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Manu could grow to that because why? He already had Tim Duncan.
Right, that's my point, bro.
We already had Tony Parker.
Right.
Okay, so you could then add the Manu. Or Manu just came along at the right time and your talent evaluated some over in Europe, saw it and gave you blah, 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 and whatever.
Right.
If RJ is the Manu, where are the other 2 pieces?
Hey, we got to answer one thing at a time. You said, if RJ is the Manu, and then you said, where are the other pieces? That's 2 questions. We got to answer one at a time, right?
And why do you, and is Manu more important than Tim Duncan?
No.
Okay. So if you could trade RJ right now, Manu, for, let's say, there's a team, let's use Sacramento, right? Because Sacramento is going to be in the draft lottery this year.
Okay.
Let's say you're able to coax Sacramento in an RJ Barrett trade. Would you not pull a RJ Barrett, let's say RJ, Mitch, Obi had a chance of their overall number 1 pick to get Victor Wembanyama?
I say leave RJ out of everything.
You're sick, man. You're a sick man.
Demented.
You're a demented, sick man, and you should get back in the boxing ring to fix what's broken because you're a sick man. Okay? You're a sick man right now. You're gonna sit there and tell me that just for the mind.
So name the price again.
I don't care. The whole team. The whole team for Victor W. Except for Brunson, right? And if you
Brunson can go too.
And if you push me, Brunson as well.
Right.
The whole team for Victor Wembanyama.
Okay.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. And the argument is Victor Wembanyama would be your Tim Duncan. I can now go out and find my man. But I need my Tim Duncan.
It makes sense. That makes sense.
That's what I've
That,
been trying to tell Knicks fans with this RJ, with this love affair, the RJ, and well, you're still not going to win the championship, whatever. Yeah, but you'd be increments closer.
so why is it trade RJ? Why is it always bash RJ every day instead of bashing others every day?
Here's the honest truth, and you just touched on it a while ago. 4 years ago, draft night 4 years ago, Knicks fans were marshaling the energy that we were somehow going to Jedi mind trick the NBA and the draft process. And the year that Zion is coming out, all of a sudden the top 3 teams get to split draft balls equally at 14%.
Right.
We were going, at that time, we were going to, the forces were with us and we were going to work against that.
Okay.
When that did not happen, we've lost all hope, and we still measure RJ to those 2 guys in the draft.
But RJ, those guys are super freaks.
They are, but we're never gonna let it go until they win a championship.
But that's the point of it. That's why this is a useless exercise. You can't blame RJ for not being a super freak.
We don't blame RJ for it.
So what are we blaming?
Well, hold on. Let me change that statement. We don't consciously blame RJ.
All right. So there's that.
Unconsciously, we blame the hell out of him for not being as
for not being a super freak. Right.
For not being a super freak. Absolutely.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So if you know RJ Barrett is not Rick James, if you know RJ Barrett is, so RJ Barrett's not Freddie Jackson. RJ Barrett would be more like Kashif.
Okay. I like that.
So because Freddie Jackson had a lot of number 1 hits, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say RJ Barrett is not Rick James. He's Kashif.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so Kashif was really, really good.
Kashif was really good.
Yeah, Kashif was really, really good. And he from New York, had roots in New York, right?
Absolutely.
So I just want people to understand that when you put a team together, every pick is not going to be superb, right? Because nobody's, bro. Did you think Golden State Warriors fans are talking about Anthony Randolph today? Hell no. Golden State Warriors fans are not talking about the years where they drafted Andries Biedrins, Anthony Randolph, and Marco Bellinelli back to back to back.
Yes.
Nobody's talking about Ekpe Udoh.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So there are guys. Golden State finally got it right. They did Steph Curry, and then they had a whack pick. Then they had Clay and Draymond, and then Harrison Barnes. So they got it right. They got it right for a stitch of time.
Yeah,
but there was a bigger stitch of time where they got it absolutely wrong.
But no one, Freezy. Here's the thing, Freezy. With analogies, okay, and when comparing teams, it's dangerous because
it's dangerous. Very.
A Knicks fan will look at you and say, "Well, I'm not a Golden State fan. I don't care."
Right.
I'm only interested in comparing them the analogies as far as them being successful. And them,
instead of the failures.
Instead of the failures.
Right.
Right? They don't care. You think Golden State fans are never going to be they're no closer to TV land, right? Than we are to Leave It to Beaver 65 years ago.
Right. Right. I understand it.
They don't care. They're caring about Run TMC.
Yeah.
They're caring about that. They're not about that.
No.
They don't know about Latrell Sprewell choking their coach.
PJ Carlson-Samo, yes.
They care because all they have now is so what? Talk about these last 10 years.
Right.
That's it. And that's where the Knicks have to get to. That's where they've got to get to. And they can't keep letting opportunities
so that's the reason why Knicks
fly by them.
That's the reason why the Knicks don't have any young fans representing them.
It's part of it.
Okay.
It's
Well, it only took me an hour and a half to get there. AD, I got to run. I got to get out of here.
As always, my pleasure to do the Sunday old school at Knicks.
Old school Knicks.
You, sir, and salute to the fans.
Game 6, 6 o'clock. We here, right here.
All right there.
Game 6, we're gonna be right here, rooting for RJ. You know what I'm saying? Calling, you know what I'm saying? Rooting for RJ. We and RJ calling.
I can't.
The Barrett Tears are in the building.
I can't lie to you, Freezy. I want Donovan to put on a show.
Why do you hate? Why do you hate, bro? Why do you hate Caribbeans, bro? Why do you hate? Why do you hate Caribbeans, bro? This is crazy, bro. This is madness. Shout out to RJ Barrett, bro. Shout out to RJ Barrett, bro. Come on, man.
The last time, look. There's no disrespect. Two things can be true. I like RJ Barrett. I think he's a good player.
Right.
I think Donovan is a much better player.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry.
I just can't take it, bro. It's okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
So, hey, peace out to the chat, everybody. Thank y'all for watching. Old School Knicks coming your way Sunday mornings at 11 a.m.
Bim, look for me.
Bim, we gonna rock and roll, man. Hopefully we could be neutral at game time so we can root for these Knicks, man. Not rooting for the other guys. AD, sir, as usual, it's been a pleasure.
Peace,
boss. All right, y'all.